Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below and make sure your notifications are turned on so you never miss an upload. I'm live on Twitch from 5:15, 5:30 even, if you want to head over there. This video was going to be 81 plus picks. I was going to put them together on Dan's account and we are going to have some fun. But I wanted to address what happened yesterday with the European Championship final and go over that, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I'm not going to be going over the game. That's not what I'm here for. Yesterday, for the first time in 55 years, the English national team played in a major international tournament final. And they made history. It was incredible. Despite the result, it was absolutely incredible to watch this team of unified players come together to play for their country and do us proud. At the end of that game, there was a penalty shootout. And in that penalty shootout, and that didn't end up a penalty shootout, a 19-year-old, a brave 19-year-old, still a kid, still young, steps up to take a penalty for his country, and he missed that penalty. And at the moment, for me, my only thought was on how much my heart broke for him, because he's now got to sort of, I guess, live with that from this moment onwards, that he missed a penalty in a final. And it ain't his fault. These things happen. It's football. Donnarumma saved it. That's it. But the moment that happened, so many of us knew what was about to happen. And within seconds, minutes, on social media, his Instagram comments, his social media, including like old posts, were flooded with racist comments, left, right and centre. It was the same for Marcus Rashford, who missed a penalty. It was the same for Jadon Sancho, who missed a penalty. I cannot fathom and I cannot understand how or why the thought process when a player misses a penalty would be to go onto social media and racially abuse them. I just cannot fathom it. It makes no sense to me. And what I find the most ironic, and I don't want to say hilarious, but it's so hypocritical and contradicting from these people, is that most of this tournament, they would have been scoring every time a black player scored. I can guarantee you that. They're not going to be standing there refusing to score. They're going to be celebrating the achievement that they call for the English national team, when so much of that was done by players who are black or have from mixed race or have had black sort of ethnic origin from their families. What I want to say clearly is a lot of people have said the European Championship run, the World Cup run, brought the country together. It brought the country together and created unity. No, it didn't. All it did was placate those racist elements of our country in football, because it still exists in football continually, and it placated them. But the moment we lost, the moment the final whistle went, so many of us that have any sense knew what was about to happen. And within minutes, we saw videos of England fans beating up indiscriminately anyone, basically, punching people in the face. I saw videos of Italian fans being kicked and beaten. Why? Because they went to Wembley and they watched their team win the international trophy, win the European Championships, having not qualified for the last World Cup. Their only crime being that they were Italian at Wembley. That was it. Simple as that. I then saw videos of black people being accosted in the street, beaten. And what makes me more sad than that is people are just recording. They're just recording these things. Why are you recording? Like, why as a society do we get our phones out and record? It's great, I guess, to be able to show what these people have done and to put it out there, but step in. I'd like to think I do that. I'd like to think people would do that. Or go and get help. Do something. Call 999. Do something. Like, I don't know if they have, they may have, but it's important that people see these images. It is important because it brings home that there is an endemic problem with racism in football and in society in general. It's a fact. And you can't get away from that. People like to say there's not, there is. It's simple as that. Throughout this tournament, the English national team has taken the knee. And I was at Wembley for England-Germany, and the cheers always outweighed the boos, but I'm bored of talking about the people that outweigh the minority. I'm bored of talking about the majority, because they're not a problem. We need to talk about the minority. Now, the reason that I see people justify the booing of taking the knee is that they say, I don't like BLM as a political movement, or I don't like XYZ, and you're entitled to your opinion. But the English national team has stated that the reason they take the knee is about racism in sport, and that is it. Like, finito. They have said that is why they take the knee. Therefore, me and other people will cheer that. I will cheer that. Simple as that. Because there is a racism problem in society, and there is a racism problem in sport. It is a fact. No matter which way you gloss it up, there is a problem. And it's those people that boo who will then go and celebrate when Raheem Sterling scores or Marcus Rashford scores or Jadon Sancho scores. Not just for the country, but for their own clubs. They'll go and cheer those players on, and it's contradictory, it's hypocritical, and to me, I can't fathom how you don't make that link. I can't fathom how you don't make that link. But let's talk about these players, because I can guarantee you, if any of those players are missed that were white, they would not be subject to the same abuse. It's as simple as that. They would not be subject to that sort of abuse. It is that simplistic. But straight up, Marcus Rashford fed your kids. He fed our kids. When the government let the people down, Marcus Rashford stepped in to help raise money to provide for the kids of this country to eat meals because the government let them down. Jadon Sancho carries himself so well on and off the pitch and is the future of England football. And Bukayo Saka, this is a straight A-star student, an highly intelligent individual, an unbelievable footballer who is proud to wear the badge of his country. And these kids, because they're young, they're still so young, are supposed to be the future of football in this country. And yet, that was the reaction they got yesterday. That was the reaction that people thought, you know what? At the end of all of this amazing run and this team having done us proud, let's go and racially abuse them. Let's send death threats to them, because that happened too. And it makes me ashamed. I'm going to be honest with you. For a lot of the time, I've never sort of understood the anyone but England mentality. A lot of the home nations, the Scottish, the Welsh, a lot of people that are in Britain, also the Irish. I've got Irish blood, so I know a little bit about the issues there, and I'm not going to get too much into the political side of things there. But I've never really understood the anyone but England, because I've always been one of those guys that supported the home nation once England were out. And I never really got it. And I think it's because I myself haven't really engaged with the darker side of the football. I've always looked at the team and just focused on that. And now I get it. And now I understand, because I saw the arrogance of some English people that are within this run. And I myself was like, oh, I love it. Like, yeah, hate us. And then last night drove home to me part of the reason why everyone hates us. Now, there's going to be people that are salty and just dislike England for doing well. It just is what it is. But we have a habit in this country of whitewashing our past and the things that we've done wrong, and the atrocities that we've committed ourselves. And so for some people in some countries, that's still quite raw, and they have a right to be angry. But moreover, when you see those scenes last night and what happened at the end of that game at full time, that is why so many people have that mentality of anyone but England. Now, I am not saying there isn't a problem. I found it slightly ironic that we saw some Italian fans calling out some English fans for what they were doing, when we know Italy have very similar problems. Does that mean they're wrong to call them out? Not at all. But it needs to be across the whole spectrum. It's not just in England the problem is, but I'll speak for the country that I call home, and I'll let everybody that calls their countries home should work on that, I guess is the best way of putting it. But my heart breaks. My heart breaks for them, and there's nothing that I think anyone's going to say to them now that can make them feel better for what happened last night. We're not going to make them feel better for the penalties that they missed. We're not going to make them feel better for the abuse they've now received. All we can do is call it out, and we can raise awareness of it, and we can just stop being dicks. There's no better way to put it. Just stop being wankers. Why is the point? Why bother? The world's changing, and it's changing very, very quickly. You're seeing people wake up to these issues, and I know that there's some people that argue people are becoming too woke, and fine, you can argue that, whatever you want to argue. But the world is changing, and these people will get left behind. They will get left behind within it. These Neanderthals, these vile human beings, they will get left behind, but they'll only get left behind if people are out there calling out what it is, and what's going on. The European Championship run made me so proud of that team. It made me so proud of that team. And I'm not about to sit here, if being blunt, and apologise for the actions of the minority. I will call it out, but I'm not going to apologise because it doesn't represent who I am as a person. But the run that England put together, I will forever be proud of that team. But this is going to sound bad to be an Englishman saying this, but part of me when I woke up this morning was glad we didn't win that final. Because what it did was show that through all this talk of unity and national unity and respect and mutual respect for one another and whatnot, it showed that isn't there like people think it is. That's what it did. It showed that within that run, all it did was hide those nasty, vile facets of our society. And a win last night would have just glossed over that, because everyone would have left that ground drunk and merry and happy and being basically fake. and pretending that they weren't the vile racist that they are. People have asked me to talk about homophobia and stuff like that, and I'm not going to do that. I've banged that drum enough times, and there's no need right now. This is what we need to be dealing with. But to say I'm glad we lost, it's probably quite harsh. But at the same time, what it did and what it will always do, an England loss in a major tournament is show the nasty parts of our society. Bukayo Saka, you are my hero. When so many players in that team let you down by not stepping up to take that penalty, you are my hero. It is the minority, and that doesn't matter. The minority are vocal about what they do. Marcus Rashford, you're my hero for what you've done for this country on and off the pitch. You are literally the epitome of what the future should look like. Genuinely like that. And Jadon Sancho, I'm so excited for you coming back to play in the Premier League so we can see how you ball out and show people how it's done. But my heart breaks for them, and I just hope that there's in some way this can be a turning point for people that watch the national team and want to say, oh yeah, but look at everyone coming together. Open your eyes up and see what's actually out there. There is a systematic and endemic problem with racism in our society. All it takes is one England loss for that to be shown. But if you're new around here, subscribe down below. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you never miss an upload. But for now, I'm out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.